So if you will, welcome me, Michelle Lewandowski, and her husband are missionaries to Poland. Her husband is actually speaking at another church.
Where is Poland? Poland is in what is now called Central Europe, but it was former East Europe. How many people live in the nation of Poland? 40 million. Geographically, Poland is the size of our state of New Mexico. But there are 40 million people. We live where the star is. That's the city of Wrocławiu. The Polish people speak the Polish language. 0.1% are born again. 0.1% is one of the neediest nations in the world. There is basically, it's a state religion, and it's Catholicism. 95% of Poland is Catholic, practicing Catholics. But you can go geographically, out of the villages and cities in the nation, there's only about 200 that have an evangelical church of any kind. We can travel 70 miles straight without a single evangelical church of any kind. It is a very dark country. The Assembly of God has had traditionally 0 or 1 missionary in the country. In 2004, and that missionary has never returned for a second term. In 2004, we had a miracle happen. 4 families went into Poland, and all 4 of us returned for a second term, and all were in our 3rd terms now. So we each have, 10 million apiece. Nation of 40 million, there's 4 of us, Assembly of God. So just to show you, it's a dark country with very little presence in it. The evangelical church is teeny, 0.1%. And the missionary force is also very small. And so it isn't an easy thing. So what have we been doing there this last term? Go ahead and move on to the next session. Well, we've been doing a lot. We've been church planting. We kind of pastor pastors. My husband has been the director of a church planting project. So in the last few years, we've helped to start 8 churches in Poland and 1 in the Ukraine. We gather our church planners together once every 2 months for a weekend where we train and at that point do training for the pastor and their teams for the cities. We also visit and mentor them not on the weekends at once a month or whatever. They have contact from another one. So we are very busy planting churches in the country. We also developed a face-to-face course. So this is to teach people how to reach somebody else for Jesus Christ. So we've reached about 150 in our course in 15 different churches teaching that. And my husband just had a passion to reach the village next to us that has no evangelical church of any kind. And he decided he was going to go into this village and start Rural Rangers. And so he and my sons did that. And they've reached about 50 different children in this city that doesn't have a witness. And this past Easter, I think it's 6 to 8 of them received Christ. So these are our church planners. They're just beautiful. So we're very, very busy. I teach women's conferences and travel, and we do all kinds of things. So it's an amazing time. So what is the need? Well, I'll tell you what, 95% Catholicism that is centered on the worship of Mary. The people in Poland spend their whole life trying to earn salvation for themselves and relatives, both dead and alive. They have no hope of eternal life, and they believe that you have to pray people out of purgatory, and no one has a guarantee of any kind of salvation, and they have a very hopeless, fear-filled belief system. So the need is very great. Anybody that is a Protestant is considered a cult, like Jehovah's Witnesses would be. So anyone outside of the Catholic Church, and there is persecution, especially with the younger people. A lot of times they're beaten by their families. One of our precious gals, in particular, I can remember speaking with her and praying for her in person after we went to her city, where kids in this one city used to sneak out of their homes so they could go to church. Isn't that a shock? And parents will check the telephones. One of the young men were being followed by his father. They are physically beaten because they're going to church. And so she actually, when she turned to 18, she wanted to be baptized, and that's a legal age. And of course, the parents said, well, don't come home. You go do that, but don't come. So she was living in the pastor's home. It's very sad. Like I said, you can go 70 miles and not find one. Your neighbors do not know Jesus Christ. There is not literature in Christian bookstores. You don't turn on the TV or the radio and hear unless you have internet access and can go outside of the country. So the need is very great to bring the light and the truth into some of the nations, including Poland. And so it's a challenge. So go ahead and continue to play that. Well, what's God said to us? He's, for 8 years we've been there. We've been planting churches with Polish peoples, and we have just tried to blend into the Polish culture and reach people for Christ. But there is such a hunger for all things American in Poland. It's very interesting. Much of Europe despises America, but that is not the case in Poland. They love our Levi's. They love our language. They love the fast food. There are 16 McDonald's in our city. We live in the city of Wrocław, which actually has almost 700,000 people in it, right in my city. And there's McDonald's, Starbucks. That was Jesus for me. Starbucks came to Poland. Now, I have to tell you, we don't have a lot of... It takes me 3 hours to do laundry, but I can actually get a Starbucks. So it was kind of a fun thing. So they love American culture. And we feel the Lord has spoken to us regarding that. And when we return next summer, we're going to start the very first international church. In our city of 700,000, we don't have one. We have LG, Toshiba, Google, Starbucks. We have a lot of corporations there. But there is no international church whatsoever. We have 120,000 students that come to our city every year to study from all across the nation. And we feel like the Lord has given us a strategy. They desire to speak in English, and they would desire worship in English. They listen to English music. And so are planning to start the first international church in our city. And we believe we will be able to plant more churches in Poland, actually, with our young people that come, and even not so young people that come in through the church. So we're going to try a different shift of strategy. We have so much favor upon us, so we are going to try to disciple and win in our own city. So